So, we're actually going to be talking about Hurricane Helene. As we know, it has hit many states. Some of them, it was Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Virginia, and North Carolina. All right. So, it hit quite a few states, and the damage is just absolutely devastating. So you had this one guy who actually had his own helicopter. Okay, he got that kind of money. He had his own helicopter, and he and his son, they were actually getting in it, and they were going to rescue people. But then they were told, no, you can't do that. You're interfering with what we got going on over here. So someone's offering you help, and instead of accepting it and taking it, you say, I don't want it. You're interfering with what it is that we got going on over here.
Carolina. But one Pageland man's efforts to help now are a source of controversy. He flew his own chopper on his own dime to help stranded victims. But he says that he's now abandoned his mission after a local fire official threatened to have him thrown in jail. Well, he turned to Queen City News Chief Investigator Jody Bart to help figure out what went wrong.
This is the original post that I was reading when I decided to go up and help. It's a long post, but she's saying that her kids and family and animals are trapped. No way out, no supplies, and the only way in or out is accessible by helicopter. Limited self-service and no water since Friday morning. I thought I have a helicopter and maybe I can help.
Jordan Sidham piled food and water into his helicopter Saturday and headed up toward Banner Elk, the only way through a mountain gap in Lake Lure.
This is the mountain valley that you would have to fly to get to Black Mountain, where we were escorting people out. This is a mountain range, and this is a mountain range. The only place to fly through with bad visibility, low cloud coverage, is Lake Lure.
The cries for help from people stranded without food, water, or electricity hit social media soon after the flooding last Friday.
But my parents are stuck there. Their address is Banner Elk. They are in the first condo. If you received it, please give me a call back. Thank you.
Sidham's phone started lighting up on Saturday with people begging for help.
I mean, I could hear the desperation in her voice. This is multiple phone calls I've received like this, voicemails, text messages, and you could hear people desperate for help.
Sidham and his son rescued 4 people on Saturday and spent the night in a nearby pilot's lounge, then decided to fly again Sunday morning.
I spoke with my son, which is my co-pilot. I said, hey, do you want to go back out and try to help today? And his response was, there's so many messages, I don't think we can't not go help.
Sidham and his son were headed up to Black Mountain. Flight tracking shows no flight restrictions in place Saturday or Sunday morning when Sidham flew through the Lake Lure Gap. But that was all about to change. The Sidham spotted an older couple waving for help, then landed in what's left of their driveway.
Hey, I want you to let me get in. You step out and go out, help her in, put her bag in the back, get her strapped in. I'm going to take her down, come back. I'll take him, I'll come back, and then I'll get you, okay? I originally left my son, co-pilot, on the side of the mountain. It was kind of unstable, so I didn't want to put more weight in the helicopter to lift back off. So I left my son with the other victim, and I was just going to take one person down at the time. And you could hear me in the video talking through with the victims and with my son what we're going to do.
3 minutes away, Sidham spotted a group of rescuers just down the river. He landed and found someone in charge.
Told him my background experience, law enforcement, firefighting, pilot. He immediately started helping with coordination. He gave me radio frequencies to coordinate with them on, set up a landing area for me to come back with the other victim. And in the middle of the whole conversation and then blocking the road off, I was greeted by the, at that time I didn't know, but Lake Lure fire chief or assistant chief maybe, and he shut down the whole operation. So at that point I felt like the conversation wasn't going any further. And again, he asked me to leave, and I said, hey, I have no problem getting out of your area. If that's what you want us to do, we'll leave, no issue. At that point, I asked him, what was the reason I had to leave them there? And he said, again, you're interfering with my operation. I just need you to get out of the area. I said, sir, I don't know where you were trained at, but I know how my training is, and I'm not going to leave personnel behind. I'm going back to get my co-pilot. He said, if you turn around and go back up the mountain, you're going to be arrested. I said, well, sir, I'm going back to get my co-pilot. I don't know what to tell you. And he said, I'm letting you know. And at that point, he waved for 2 law enforcement officers to come over and told me that again, if I go back up the mountain, I would be arrested.
He flew the 3-minute trip back, picked up his son, and left the woman's husband behind.
I'm sure he was flooded with emotions and trying to rescue other people, and I just felt that it was best at the time to leave. So I did follow his instructions, and I had a conversation with the female victim before I left, apologizing and explaining. She was standing there. She heard the whole conversation. And they were both very, very surprised, very upset. The husband, as I was leaving off of the side of the mountain, at that point, separated from his wife, he was upset. I can only imagine.
Sidham and his nearly 1,400 flight hours turned his chopper around and headed back to South Carolina, passing people waving for help along the way.
As I was actually leaving to go back to get my son, the original chief or captain that I spoke to, his crew and himself, they came back over and said, hey man, we can't tell you to go get the victim. We can't even ask you to go get the victim, but we can tell you if you come back with the victim, we'll have you a designated landing spot, and they won't. We'll make sure they don't come over here.
So there was no flight restriction when you went in?
No flight restriction when I went in. It went in place 20 or 30 minutes after the confrontation with Mr.
You feel like that was coincidental, or do you think that was because of what happened?
I don't think it can be coincidental when there has not been one in place the day before doing rescue operations, the night of, the morning of, that took place after our altercation. I think there would have never been a TFR put in place had we not had that conversation. If I had to do it over again, I would have stopped and I would have rescued as many people until they decided they were going to arrest me.
Well, that was our chief investigative reporter, Jody Barr. Now, for now, we've chosen not to identify the Lake Lure fire official who told the chopper pilot to stop. But we do want to be able to include his side in our reporting, and we will, if and when our messages are returned.
Why would you bar someone who's trying to help people out in a time of crisis, a devastation? Why would you bar someone from trying to help out? Or you're interfering with the operation? Wouldn't you want as many hands available? He said that he already rescued 4 people. There was no flight restrictions, so it's not like, oh, well, you can't pay. There was nothing. So why would you not want someone to help out unless you were given orders to just let people, whatever happens to them may happen to them? Okay. But I'm very happy with him, his son, the co-pilot as well, in just their selflessness, because they were on, this is their property, their gas that they're having to put up in here. Okay. And we know fuel is not cheap. And they were willing to help people out because they're like, I don't care, as many people as I can help out. Obviously it's not a freaking giant plane. It's it's a helicopter, so I could only help out so many people. But even just saving one life, who's to say that someone wasn't going to accidentally get into a mudslide or something and pass away or something, or get injured? You were able to help even at least one person, and what was number 4, 5, 6 people at that time. So if he went back for the husband, but let's go and look at this. I seen this post and it says people are flying their own helicopters in and actively rescuing people in North Carolina, and local government officials are threatening them with arrest. You don't hate your government enough. Okay, so I'm going to, let me see if I can make this a little larger, and I'm going to go ahead and read it. Okay, guys, I was instructed to suspend operations and let anyone else know that was coming. They would be arrested if they were operating aircraft in the area. At the time of this post, I was the only helicopter within 40 miles working. No current active TFR. I am unsure of the guy's name, but he had on a Lake Lure Fire Department shirt. I'm not going to go after any first responders, as everyone else was more than happy to help me. Even his own employees told me that they would block the area for me to bring people back to safety. I was extracting a lady from a collapsing mountainside, and due to the unstable environment, I left my co-pilot on the ground to stay with the husband. When she was brought to safety, I was instructed that if I returned to get either person, the husband or my co-pilot, I would be arrested. I'm not sure how he was trained, but I do not leave a fellow man behind. My co-pilot is currently flying me back for more fuel. I have attached the list of needs I was sent just today, and it's very long. Hopefully they change their mind about asking for help before it gets worse. Thanks again for all the support and prayers. As I was flying back for fuel, we passed 6 more people waving for help. Fellow pilots, be safe out there. We will be on the north side of the mountain where they appreciate help. These people need help and they are turning us away. Carolina Emergency Response Team. Okay, and then you see over here, so this is just images of it. And someone said, I'm their niece and I live in the town. Would appreciate any updates. No contact with any of my family since 8 a.m. Friday. Would appreciate any update on Norb and Janice McKinney at 134 Turkey Trot. Okay, this is the address. We've not had contact with them in days and are very worried because of the images and the roads surrounding the area. Okay, so you could just see how bad the conditions are, more so. And here is the chief that people are saying this right here is the chief. Now, the news station, they're like, oh, we're not gonna go and say the name. We're just gonna keep on it hush hush. We don't want to say the name. Just even though I don't get why you would redact his name if he's the one who's saying not to help people who could possibly die in a disaster. I don't get that. So my question would be this. What would be the reasoning? Okay, let's go and look at some of the comments that are up here. This is from this guy. Someone said, I hope he sues the you know what out of you. He has a demanding job and you are all making it worse. There's nothing like a bunch of disaster experts sitting at the home thinking they know it all. Making government job worse is my middle name. Yeah, so this is another person who actually has a landing pad. It says, I'm just going to put this out here. Maybe someone with a helicopter willing to help will see it. My own property. They give the name of it. You can land a helicopter on there. There's hundreds of people around there that need help. Some with medical conditions. If you guys can get anything to spot, you have my full permission to land on my property. So you have people who were understanding like, yo, we're Americans, we all need help. This is what we need to band together for. Okay, go and help these people, bring them over here. I don't care, you can use my property, I don't care. Okay, everyone needs help, people need help, let's get them help. Okay. Someone said people need to learn how to defy authority in this country. If I was the pilot, I explained that 1, I'm going to rescue some people, and 2, I'm not going to be arrested. That happens because people tolerate it. So choosing to use one's own resources to rescue Americans stuck in extremely dangerous conditions because the government has failed to do its duty will result in your arrest. This is an abomination. Yes. Absolutely, just absolutely horrendous what is going on. But let me know what you all think down below. Hello, hello, hello. I would greatly appreciate it if you can actually support my little small business called Latrice Limited. It is on latricelimited.com. So as you can see right here, I actually sell candles and a wide variety of other items as well. This is my big forehead, okay? But I actually want to show you just a couple of different items that I do sell. This is actually going to be a part of my soap collection that I have. As you can see, I have a variety of different soaps on here. I actually have 2 pages worth of soaps. And everything is handmade, okay, natural, clean ingredients as well. You can also see right here, these are my candles, all right? They're all handmade, everything. Vanilla, sweet roses, sage and vanilla and sweet roses are actually my favorite scents that I do have. I also have a few other items on here. I'm actually going to go and show you all the bath bombs that I do have. As you all can see, there's eucalyptus and sage, sweet pea harmony, and so many more. And then we're just going to finish off on the gift sets that I have. There's a variety of them, from like the big ones like this for $45, and then you have some of the smaller ones, and you have these itty bitty ones down here that includes essential oil blends. Definitely shop with your girl. Definitely help your girl out. I would greatly appreciate it. This is like my little baby over here, okay? I would greatly appreciate it, and enjoy.